Hello everyone, this is Hodora and we are back with Chaos Zero Nightmare. Today, you're gonna talk about Selena. You're gonna do a little bit of review and a little bit of how I'm gonna build her. But before we start, let me show you guys a little bit of example of what you should expect from her, right? Beware, I have her at E2. That means I do get her dupe and then I use Omega code to get another upgrade to E2. That makes so that at the start of the battle I get free homing laser, right? But yeah, basic idea of Selena, you don't need to worry about all this setup I have right now. Basic idea is just you want to break the enemy and she excels in breaking the enemy, as you can see here. Now I'm gonna do this just to completely break the enemy, and when that happens, all of the homing laser that you use will be moved back to the hand and you can replete them again. Beware that these homing laser have exhaust too, that means it's gonna be gone after 2 use. And it's only have attack that move from graveyard to hand. So if you leave any of this in your discard pile when you reshuffle your deck and these go into your deck, it will not come to your hand when you break the enemy. Different story compared to homing laser with epiphany. For example, this one just on lavish move to hand. This will always come to hand, either it's in the deck or it's in the graveyard. Or another type of epiphany is this one, either at the start of the turn or on lavish if you move to hand. This is like the most useful epiphany for at least homing laser. I'm gonna talk about all this again later during the introduction. But for now, let's just kill this board with all of these infinite laser, right? And he do more damage compared to before because of her item to her gear, memory fragment. Alright, that is a little bit of showcase of what you can expect from her. Now let's go over her kit. So, Sereniel is a hunter with the instinct element, right? Instinct with hunter. Her card, as you see before, usually revolve around break the enemy. But how do you gonna break an enemy if you're not in the correct color, right? For example, previous board have a red weakness, right? Have passion weakness. She can still break them quite reliably, almost full bar the break without any help, right? That because of the buff called Afterglow. Afterglow basically makes so that you gonna do 1 tenacity damage on any of your attack card. And if you have Afterglow, while the enemy in lavish state, right, when they're fully broke, instead of get +1 tenacity damage, you get plus 50% damage. So it's addition to this, and it's quite nice because most of her attack have quite low damage multiplier, so addition gonna work really well. So yeah, let's start from her card first. We talked about her card in the preview before. Remembering I saying that, but yeah. First, homing laser, 0 cost, and you can see earlier a little bit of damage. Her core buff, right, Afterglow. This is the only card I believe that have Afterglow tag on them. So this is her core mechanic. And for this one, if you want to build her, I only have to recommend Epiphany. Either you go for lavish, move to hand, or reduce the Afterglow from 2 to 1 and at the start of the turn move this to hand. So you can just spam them every turn, right? These are 2 of what I would recommend you to choose. This one increase your cost to 1, so that is not good. And this one basically move all homing laser air from graveyard to hand. If it's from everywhere to hand, that might be better. Or maybe from exhaust pile to hand, that might be better. But for this one, it it doesn't do that well unless you can generate like a ton of homing laser out. So yeah, I recommend either Epiphany 2 or Epiphany 4 for this one. Next is Plasma Missile. Cost 1, deal a little bit damage, deal a little bit of tenacity damage, and if the enemy is not in lavage yet, activate one more time. Quite alright for break enemy, right? Because 0.5, this is different from the usual, this is increased from the usual attack, right? So if you go off color, it's gonna be 0.5, after 0.5 they're gonna be 1, and with afterglow it's gonna be 2, and this activate twice it's gonna be 4 tenacity damage. Most enemy will be break. The boss gonna take like half of the total bar. Really nice, really nice. But when we have it at Epiphany, for this one you can get an upgrade version, basically remove one card from your deck. But that is not good because this upgrade doesn't do that much damage unless you line up your combo correctly. And you lost a potential card that can insta-break the enemy. So I don't like that. What I like the most is the Epiphany 1. It just increase what it does, right? Increase the damage and tenacity damage. Make so that instead of do like 4, it's gonna do 5. Yeah, it can do 5 Epiphany tenacity damage instead from one use on non-lavage enemy. So I recommend either Epiphany 1 or Epiphany 4 again. Create homing laser is good. I will not rate this highly because basically 3 more homing laser in your card pile, in your draw pile is polluting your deck. Unless you are at equal to, right, E2. Because at E2 when you draw any of the homing laser, you're gonna draw one more card, so that's gonna cycle to your deck faster. That is the only reason you're gonna take this thing that put junk, not junk, but it's gonna pollute your deck. So this is not as good, right? Yeah, I did one. I recommend Epiphany 1. Next is Shining Core. The only card that gonna create homing laser outside of as a baseline, right? Cost 1 and create 2 homing laser. Homing laser is this card, right? Deal a little bit of damage, give 1 afterglow, and yeah, on lavage move the card from graveyard to hand. But if you manage to get Epiphany for this, there is 2 upgrade versions for this that I highly recommend. I don't think, well, if you get create 3, that is good, right? Create 3, that is good. Create 2 with 2 extra to exalt, that is also nice. X cost, this one is not good at all, right? Usually you're gonna have like 3 costs, so you play 3 costs just to get what, 4 homing laser. And this one you play 1, you get 3. Haste doesn't apply, doesn't do anything, so it's like a waste of your total AP if you choose this one. So this is not recommended at all. What I have right now is this one, right? Initiation, so it's gonna start on your first hand. Create 2 homing laser, and whenever you break the enemy, create another 2 homing laser. So whenever you break the enemy, you're gonna get +2 more. This is quite nice and easily remove the card from your deck. 3 homing laser is fine. Another thing that is really good, it actually Epiphany number 5, this one. I kind of broke that. Let me shrink myself. Alright. So select and create 1 homing laser with their own distinct Epiphany. So basically when you use this, it's gonna pop up this menu, and you can basically choose anything from this, and you get permanent another homing laser. I recommend choose this one, right? Because you can just spam this every turn and that's gonna be a huge value. Yeah, that is like, there is 3 possible Epiphany I recommend for Shining Core. I highly recommend any of the upgrade version. right? Any of the upgrade version work really well, and is make your deck smaller after use too, so that's nice, right? And lastly, the last card I have Epiphany, Cobalt Light, cost 3, deal 4 hit to damage to enemy, and each hit costs 1 extra tenacity damage. When you use this card, you can't expect anything to be broke right away. But it's kind of high cost, right? 3 cost. So at the non-Epiphany version is you're not gonna use this every time you draw them. Sometimes you draw them and you're gonna be disappointed because you want to play other card instead. But with Epiphany, right? There is actually 2 Epiphany I recommend for this one. And it's not the 2 that decrease the cost, right? Keep the cost as 3. I recommend Epiphany number 2 and Epiphany number 5. I don't recommend Epiphany number 1. You know why? Because lavish this tag decrease cost by 1, right? You might think it's good. If you lavish enemy 3 times, it's gonna be to 0. No. This thing only trigger when this card is in hand. So you need to break the enemy when this card is in hand, and it's gonna cost reduce to 2, and next time reduce to 1. So that's gonna be like 2 or 3 cycle of your deck. So that is basically like what, 10 turn already. So this is basically useless. The 3 cost with retain, this is really nice because every time you retain this, you're gonna add plus 1 hit until it's used, maximum 5. So basically it's gonna increase from 4 times to 9 times. And 9 times reach 1 tenacity damage. If the enemy have like 20 bar of tenacity, this will break them completely. And it's retained, right? You don't need to use them right away. So that is worth keeping on your hand. And for Epiphany 4, weakness attack. And all lavish activate one more time. Have benefit or weakness attack mean that every hit from this gonna do full tenacity damage and do 25% more damage per hit. And that is 4 hit. And if you manage to break enemy, it's gonna activate another time, right? And if you are fighting a wave of enemy, right? Even if just one of them break, this gonna reactivate and gonna do a random attack again. Not a random attack again, this is one that's random, it's focused on one enemy, but it's gonna reactivate and go target. If that enemy die, right, it's gonna go target another one. So that is really good. So yeah, either Epiphany 4 or not 4, 2 or 5 for this one. And lastly, Pale Shooting Star. This is 240% damage. Activate 5 homing laser in door pile or graveyard. Really good. Really good when you have a lot of homing laser either in your deck or in your discard pile. At the base, this is not like this. I believe it's 200% and activate 3 homing laser. This gonna get upgrade when you get her first dupe, right? E1. So while we talking about that, let's go to that. Right, E1. Oh, plus 50% actually. So it starts at 190. No, sorry. 150 plus 50 is 200. And then because I have the potential upgrade, that's why it's 240. But yeah, this is the upgrade number 1. Number 2, this is the most broken one in my opinion because at the start battle you see earlier, right? Create 2 homing laser out. That means in every single scenario, even when you start your chaos run, at your weakest state, this will always active, and this will make you go through chaos so much easier, right? And when you draw homing laser at the start of the turn, you're gonna draw plus 1 card. That is just a little bit more favor with just 2 extra homing laser. That is already so powerful that I believe it's worth getting a dupe, or if you already have 1 dupe, it's worth using Omega Code for her, in my opinion, right? After this, it mostly just increase her damage. It doesn't increase any quality of life or her functionality that much. So at equals 3, you plus 50% to her eco skill, right? Dead Halo. So it's gonna turn from 400 to 450 damage to our enemy. And it's also gonna give haste to all of your homing laser that move with your Dead Halo. And this only move from your exhaust pile, right? Not your graveyard. So it's only move the homing laser that already been exhausted. So you use this really late or don't use this at all. And for number 4, for each homing laser that is moved from hand to hand on lavage, right? Only on lavage. It doesn't count the one that move at the start of the turn. Sereniel gain 5 power amp effect. Basically plus 10 damage to all of her attack card for 1 turn. Max stack is 5. So at maximum plus another 50% damage. So it's just damage increase to all her attack whenever you manage to move your homing laser from either your deck or your graveyard to your hand, 5 of them in 1 turn. Maximum potential, right? So increase damage, nothing much. And number 5 is the usual, right? Increase level of basic, unique, and common card upgrade by 3. So that is 6% more damage to all of this. And lastly, at Epiphany 6, when allies inflict lavage, I believe this also counts herself. Sereniel inflict 80% damage for each segment of lavage target max tenacity. Basically, if you break the enemy, Sereniel gonna just do more damage. Just extra instead of damage to the enemy. For example, if enemy have like 3 big bra, 3 tenacity, it's gonna be what, 240% as the baseline. It can be buffed with moral, with vulnerable, something like that. It's not gonna be buffed with 5 power amp or her unique equipment set, right? Because this only applies to attack card. This is not an attack card, it's just her passive, so this doesn't apply to that. So it's quite alright. 240 for normal enemy. For the big guy, 800% damage. Is it worth getting 6 doof for that? I argue no. I argue not. I believe at most 4 if you really want her to have a lot of firepower. But you see earlier, right? She, at least for my Sereniel do like 1,000 damage per homing laser shot at on the broke enemy. Do we need more damage than that? I don't think so. So yeah, that is all her do. Next is the potential. Nothing much, right? 3 basic cards. The first one give 1 rare epiphany. The second one give 50% chance to get a homing laser out on her basic card. But usually you're gonna remove all her basic anyway. If you can't, then you can keep them and this gonna help you generate value of her basic. Another big note is this one. Plus 5% to her basic, and if your crit chance is 20% or higher, plus another 5. Nothing much, we're not gonna use her basic anyway. And last one, if your crit chance is 30% or higher, plus 10 damage to homing laser. If it's 60% or higher, plus another 5. Let me tell you, getting 50% crit chance is not an easy task. But if you can, that's a nice upgrade, right? Baseline increased by 5, but increased by 5 is not that much. You don't need to stress too much to get 60 crit chance, but you want to push her crit chance and crit damage as much as possible anyway, right? That's why she also have a note for crit chance and a note for critical damage. Okay, and lastly, we're not gonna talk about her partner. I talked about her partner during Pego video before. so you can watch that instead. Lastly is her recommend set. I highly recommend you to use Jasmine Frame for her, the new set that introduced together last patch maybe. Plus 50% damage amount to any instinct card used against Lavage enemy. So another plus to her card, right, to her homing laser. And the two set, I recommend crit damage. Why we need these for? Well, because we're not gonna use her basics, so the basic 2-piece set is useless. Two-piece set for attack is also not that much damage compared to plus 50% to the multiplier, right? And other than that, what is other option do we have? I don't think there is any option, right? This one inflict on Agony, you're gonna not play any Agony with her. What else? Nothing else. What, you want HP? You want defense? No, we want only damage, and damage only for our kill genocide weapon, right? So yeah, the only thing they recommend is Jasmine Frame and Executioner 2. The stat is as usual, right? You want crit chance, you want in-string damage, you want attack, and sub-stat crit chance and crit damage is the highest priority, right? Usual, as you can imagine. And as you can see here, my crit chance is what? 58.3. If I can find a better goblet, better design than this, because this one put everything into extra damage, this is not good. Then her crit rate gonna be at 60%, that's gonna be so nice. But sadly, crit damage is quite low. I want crit damage around 200%, that would be amazing. And that's not all. Lastly is her save. We talk about her card and Epiphany already, right? But you can see here, I'm not gonna keep any basic cards, so I remove all of them. I want as many homing laser as possible, or a shining core that give you homing laser. Upgrade one that I showed you before, right? That is amazing too. But with this, as you can see, just 6 cards, and these 2 cards will keep shuffled to your hand every time you break enemy or at the start of the turn. It's really nice. For the equipment, there is nothing good on her chest piece, right? There is this one. Basically, increase damage amount every time you take a hit. And it can stack up to 3 times. This is permanent, so as long as you take 3 hits from the enemy, it's gonna be 30% more damage. This is multiplier. Since we get a lot of addition from all of her passive and the memory fragment and everything, this is nice separate multiplier, so that's good. And of course, for her accessory, you either want a Morpheus cube plus 25% to the damage, or if you run lap 0 again, exceptional entity, this one plus 30% instead of 25. And for the weapon, the only recommendation is this one, is increase the damage by 40%. This is the only reason why I do so much damage with her homing laser, right? We just stack a lot of addition and multiplication damage multiplier, and boom, 1000 per hit. So yeah, this is available in both Lab 0 and in City of Mist. And she is so easy to run, you don't need to worry at all. I believe you can just run her alone and remove all the cards from the other two units if you can, and she's gonna perform as strong as a full party. That's how strong she is. And if you want a final conclusion from me about Sereniel, she is the most broken character we have so far. It's gonna be like that for a while. I don't think they can top Sereniel for quite a while, and that warrants the fact that she is seasonal, right? So if you have enough currency, enough resource to pull for her, I highly recommend you get at least 1 copy of her. She gonna serve her purpose really well, right? As she says, she gonna come and she's gonna kill all of our enemy for us. You don't need another copy, you don't need her partner, just her alone is enough to kill everything. And that is the conclusion I have, and I hope you have fun playing video game. Good luck with your gacha, and see you again next time. For now, bye bye. Oh, and Happy New Year! Happy holiday! How do I say this? Anyway.